Hello everyone, I'm Yumu from Susan's family. Today, I'll share with you a sunflower pillow cover from our animism series. You can find the crocheting charts of this project on the website, susud.com. This pillowcase is divided into the front and back pieces, the borders, and the decorations. We'll start with the front and back pieces, which are crocheted in the same way. Both pieces consist of 3 sections: a central motif, an arc-shaped motif, and the attachment. Let's start with the central motifs, which come in different color schemes. While the crochet technique remain the same, they all begin with a magic ring, crocheting in rounds counterclockwise. Color changes are required during the process, and multiple crochet stitches will be applied. All the details are marked on the charts. I won't list them one by one here. Let me show you how to make them. Take out the yarn you need. Colors for the sample are random. For the specific yarn, color schemes, and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page and charts of this project. Now start with a magic ring. Round 1. Chain 2 as the beginning chain, which severs and counts as 1/2 double crochet, then crochet 8 half double crochet into the ring. Close the ring after that. Next, for the beginning chain, into these 2 strands of the chain, work a slip stitch. Tighten up. And that completes round 1. Consider the side with the clearer texture as the right side. Continue with round 2. Chain 3 as a beginning chain, which matches the beginning chain from round 1, and counts as 1 double crochet. Now work 4 double crochets into the same spot where you made the slip stitch. Weave in the tail as you go. After that, remove the hook and insert the top of the beginning chain. Draw the loop through. Chain 1 to secure, while gently bend the stitches towards you. There you have one special 5DC popcorn complete. Now chain 1 as a bridge. Work 1 5DC popcorn in the next stitch. We'll simply call it a popcorn from now. First, make 5 double crochets. Notice the stitches here might stretch a little. Make sure to cover them all. Remove the hook. Insert the first double crochet of the popcorn. Draw the loop through. Chain 1 to secure. 1 popcorn is finished. Chain 1 more here. Continue to pick up the following stitches to make popcorn, followed by 1 chain. After the final chain, slip stitch into the beginning chain to finish. Round 2 is completed. Cut the tail. Move on to round 3. Start by slip stitching into the chain space on the right. Don't tighten the yarn. Make 1 special popcorn in the same spot. And chain 1 as a bridge. Now make 2 popcorn in the next chain space on the left, with 1 chain between. Chain 1 more after that. For the following chain spaces, make 2 popcorn each, and chain 1 between them. Make the last popcorn in the first chain space, which already contains 1 popcorn. Finish with a slip stitch. Round 3 is now complete. A new color is needed for the next round. Before you cut the yarn, secure it with 1 chain. Now, cut. Move on to round 4. Join the new yarn in the chain space on the left of the tail. Start with 1 special popcorn. You may weave in the tail as you go. Chain 1. Work 2 popcorn in the next chain space, with 1 chain between. Chain 1 more. Then, in the following chain spaces, alternately do 1 and 2 popcorn. And separate each popcorn with 1 chain. Complete this round. Finish with a slip stitch. Cut. Round 4 is complete. Move on to round 5. Join the yarn in any chain space from last round. And chain 9. Start from the second chain from the hook. Make 1 single crochet, each in the back loop for the following 7 chain. Leave out the last chain. Slip stitch at the joining point. Chain 2. Slip stitch into the next chain space. Consider these stitches we made as a group. I'll do another group. Chain 9. Start from the second chain from the hook, make 7 single crochets in a row. Slip stitch into the next chain space. Chain 2. Slip stitch into the next chain space. Continue making groups like this. Pay attention to the spot for slip stitches. The one of the last group should be made in the joining point. Check if you have enough groups. Round 5 is complete. Move on to round 6. Make 1 beginning chain to start. Into the same spot where the previous single crochet was. Make another single crochet. Be sure to find the right spot. Skip this chain we just left out. Make 1 half double crochet. 3 double crochet. Another half double crochet. 1 single crochet. Chain 1. And 1 ch2 picket. Now chain 2. In this lowest chain, slip stitch by picking up 1 strand of it. That's how you make 1 ch2 picket. From now, we'll just call it a picket. Now, pick up stitches to crochet symmetrically on the other side. and then, slip stitch into the next chain space formed by 2 chains. Consider the stitches we just made as a group. Continue with another group. First, into the same spot, where the previous single crochet was made, make the corresponding stitches. After the second single crochet, chain 1, and make 1 picot. Keep picking up stitches to crochet. And slip stitch into the chain space formed by 2 chains. Another group is complete. Finish this round just like this. After the last group, slip stitch into the first single crochet. Cut. Round 6 is finished. Now, move on to round 7. Insert your hook where the slip stitch was. Join the yarn. And chain 1. Slip stitch in each following stitch. And chain 1 between. When you reach the picot, pike up 1 strand of the first and third chain of it to make 2 slip stitches. Again, chain 1. And 1 more. Pick up the next stitch and slip stitch. Make sure to cover all the chains. Try to make the tip distinct. After this single crochet, slip stitch in the same spot where we did slip stitch for round 5. You may wrap up the previous stitches with it. Chain 1 again. Slip stitch in the next slip stitch spot. And chain 1. You can skip the first single crochet from this group and crochet in the next stitch. Follow the same method as before. For picots, remember to slip stitch twice. To make the tip pretty. Continue crocheting in the stitches. When done, slip stitch at the slip stitch spot from round 5. Take a look. For this round, we do slip stitches in specific spots between each chain 1 as a bridge. For the tips, you may choose where to do the slip stitches according to your needs. Just make sure the tips are pretty and nicely curved and be placed roughly centered. You can skip all the first single crochet of groups from now, or not, as long as the petals look nice. Continue in this way. Complete this round according to the charts. After finishing the last chain stitch, slip stitch into the joining point. Cut the yarn. And that completes round 7. Now, move on to the round 8. Locate the slip stitch from round 5. And fold the petal towards you. Join the yarn in this chain space from round 4. Then crochet just like round 5. Pay attention to the number of chains. And there should be 8 single crochets in total. Slip stitch into the next chain space. You see, we made the previous slip stitch in this chain space. Now make another slip stitch in it. Move on to the next group. Take a look here. petals on this round interlaced with those on round 5. So as the slip stitch points. Remember to slip stitch in the same spots from round 5. Finish this round like this. Make the slip stitch of the last group in the joining point where we start this round. And round 8 is complete. Now move on to round 9. What we do is similar to round 6. The slip stitch which ends a group should be made into the chain space formed by 2 chains as well. Keep going until you finish this round. End with a slip stitch. Cut the yarn. Round 9 is done. Next, work on round 10. Join the yarn where the previous slip stitch was made. Then crochet as in round 7. After slip stitch into this single crochet on the left, chain 1. Slip stitch into the spot where we slip stitched for the previous round. That's this chain space formed by 2 chains. Chain 1 again. Don't miss any single crochet on the left. Just crochet the slip stitch normally. Keep going like this. And finish this round. End with a slip stitch where you joined the yarn. And cut. Round 10 is complete. Fasten off the tail. Here. Now, work on round 11. Locate this petal close to you. On the wrong side, for the picket from round 6. Pick up 1 or 2 strands to join the yarn. And chain 1 to start. Then make 1 single crochet in the same spot. Try not to show any visible trace on the right side. Chain 4. For the left rear petal. In the back of the second single crochet from round 8. Somewhere around here. Pick up 1 or 2 strands and make 1 single crochet. Try to center the stitch. Chain 4. Follow this method for the rest. Alternate between 2 layers of petal, make single stitches on their corresponding spots, bridge with 4 chains between. Continue until you complete this round. Finish with a slip stitch. Round 11 is now complete. Move on to round 12. Start with chain 1. Work 1 single crochet into the next one. Crochet 4 single crochets into the chain space. Weave in the tail as you go. Follow this pattern for the entire round. Finish with a slip stitch. Round 12 is now complete. Next, work on round 13. Begin with 3 chains. Work 2 double crochets into the next single crochet. These counts as one special DC 3-in-1. Chain 1 as a bridge. Skip the next 3 stitches. Then make 1 DC 3-in-1, which means to make 3 double crochets into the same spot. Here's 1 DC 3-in-1 completed. Chain 1 again. The pattern for this round is to skip 3 stitches and work 1 DC 3-in-1, and always chain 1 after. Finish this round. End with a slip stitch. Round 13 is now complete. For the final round, work single crochets into both the stitches and the chain spaces. Make sure you finish them all. Don't cut the yarn just yet. And there you have one central motif. Measure the diameter of it. And compare to the measurements on the charts. If there's a big difference, you may redo the work, adjusting the tension of motif by tighten, or loosen the stitches as needed, and maintain that tension for the following crocheting, to ensures a proper size. Next, we'll work on an arc-shaped motif, which will be crocheted back and forth in a specific area of the central motif. Once done, add an edging. We'll be using a single crochet increase as a new stitch. I'll show you in detail. Start with the row 1. With the yarn of the central motif. Make 1 turning chain to start. Work 1 single crochet into the next single crochet. Chain 1. Skip 1 stitch, 1 single crochet. Chain 1 again. The pattern here is to skip 1 stitch. Make 1 single stitch and chain 1. Make 3 more single crochets in this way. Don't forget to chain 1. Skip 1 stitch. Make 1 SC2 in 1, which means working 2 single crochets in the same stitch. There you have 1 SC2 in 1. Continue with the established pattern of single crochets. Remember to chain 1 on both sides of each stitch. I'll leave out this cliché from here on. After you've worked 5 single crochets, skip 1 and make 1 SC2 in 1. Keep following the charts to complete this row. Once the last single crochet is finished, check if you've used the correct number of stitches. Row 1 is now complete. Move on to row 2. Start by chain 1 as turning chain, and as a match for this single crochet on the edge, turn. In the following chain spaces, work 1 single crochet each, and chain 1 as a bridge between. When you encounter 1 SC2 in 1, chain 1, and work 1 single crochet into the first stitch of it. Remember, when working on the wrong side, the stitch will be on the upper left. Chain 1, skip 1. Keep working single crochets into the chain spaces. When you come across another SC2 in 1 later, do what we just demonstrated. Now continue crocheting single crochets accordingly. When you encounter 1 SC2 in 1, work 1 single crochet into the first stitch. Finish this row. After completing the single crochet in the last chain space, you've finished row 2. Now, move on to row 3. Start by making 2 chains. Turn. Skip the first 2 single crochets on the left. Continue with single crochets in chain spaces, just like before. After completing 5 single crochets, work 1 SC2 in 1 in the next chain space. Keep following the charts to complete this row. The last single crochet should be made into the starting chain. Row 3 is now complete. Move on to row 4. Follow the same way as for row 2. Make 1 beginning chain to start. Turn. Pick up the chain spaces and work a single crochet in each. Chain 1 as a bridge between them. When you encounter SC2 in 1, match it with 1 single crochet. Work the last single crochet into the first chain space formed by 2 chains. Row 4 is now complete. Continue working back and forth for the following rows. Pick up the chain spaces and crochet 1 single crochet in each, and chain 1 as a bridge between them. Note, when starting from the right side, make 2 chains to start, and skip the required number of stitches and crochet. Some rows require increases at specific points. On the wrong side, pick up the correct spot to work 1 single crochet for the SC2 in 1. For the end of the right side, work into the turning chain. For the end of the wrong side, refer to the chart for the right spot to crochet in. All you need has been demonstrated. Please finish the motif according to the charts. Cut the yarn at the end. It won't be difficult. Now for the edging. Place the fabric with the right side facing up. Divide the left edge of the fabric evenly into 8 sections. Count the corresponding number of stitch from the slip stitch for row 1 on the arc-shaped motif to join the yarn. Chain 1 to begin. Then, make 1 single crochet in each following stitch. On the edge, crochet the remaining stitches roughly evenly. Work the corresponding number of stitches on each section. Adjust the placement of your stitches as needed while crocheting, to ensure a smooth, rounded curve along the edge, avoiding obvious ups and downs. That means for the dents, work into the strands on the side. For the bulges, insert your hook a bit inward. Continue in this way for the remaining stitches. Check the number of stitches at the end. Fasten off the yarn. Weave it in on the wrong side. And that's how you crochet an arc-shaped motif. Remove the stitch markers. For the remaining central motifs and arc-shaped motifs, with the same technique, use the corresponding colors to complete them. Once all the motifs are finished, attach them together to form a circle. I'll demonstrate with a sample here. Place the fabric with the right side facing up. Arrange the pieces in the shape of a tie-kai symbol. Locate where the central motifs meet. On the arc-shaped motif, count 14 stitches to the left from the end of row 1. And match them with markers accordingly. The exact number of stitches can be adjusted as your preference. Attach the remaining stitches of the central motif to the left edge of the other arc-shaped motif. Mark a few more key points evenly for a smooth connection. Then, take the yarn for attachment. Start from this end. Insert both motifs on the side. Into the stitch if there is any. And the corresponding matching positions in the back. Make sure to leave the stitch here available. Join the yarn. For now, leave a tail about 15 centimeters. Chain 1 to begin. Move to the right and insert the next stitch. Avoid twisting the braids as you work. Locate the matching positions in the back. Draw through. Then, pick up this single strand on the left. And work 1 single crochet. Repeat these steps. Now into the next stitch. Remember to adjust the following matching positions as you go. Draw through. You'll see these 2 strands like this on the left. Pick them up and work 1 single crochet. Continue make slip stitch. Continue. Slip stitch and pick up these 2 strands to work 1 single crochet. Attach the central section in this way. Make sure the fabrics align evenly. Leave a 15 cm tail before cutting the yarn. Give it a gentle tidy up, and that's how you attach the motifs. The front piece is done. The back piece can be crocheted in the same way. All you need has been demonstrated. Now, move on to the border, which is crocheted in rounds counterclockwise on both the front and back pieces separately. Color changes will be needed. I'll show you in detail with this sample. At the left side of the joining area, join the yarn in the first stitch of the edging. Chain 1 to start. Pick up the stitches one by one from the joining point, and make single crochets. Check the number of stitches. When you're done, it should match the number of stitches in the edging. On the other side of the edging, continue making single crochets correspondingly. Leave the yarn for attachment in front for now. Finish with a slip stitch. Cut the yarn. The first round is complete. For the following rounds, crochet in rounds according to the charts. Remember to change colors for each round. Notice that the first double crochet from round 2 should not to made into the beginning chain. Keep following the charts as you go. At the end, leave a tail about 3 times the circumference of the fabric for sewing. For the other side, crochet in the same way. At the end, leave a 5 cm tail, and fasten it off. That concludes the borders. Now, let's move on to decorations. We'll cover the shrimp braid, the large leaves, sewing up front and back pieces, the border, zipper, small leaves and flowers. First, make the shrimp braid and large leaves. Once they're secure, sew the front and back pieces up. Then, work the border and sew the zipper. Finally, make the small leaves and flowers and sew them together. I'll show you in detail. Let's start by the shrimp braid, which comes in 4 in total. Check the charts for the exact length to crochet. At the end, leave a tail about twice the length of the shrimp braid for sewing. For the actual crocheting technique, I'll show you in the following video. Chain to start. Crochet 2 chains. Insert the hook into the back loop of the first chain. Yarn over, draw through. Yarn over again, draw through both loops on the hook. Hold the hook in place. Turn the lower fabric clockwise. Then, pick up 2 strands like this with your hook. Yarn over, draw through. Yarn over again, draw through all loops on the hook. Continue turning the fabric clockwise. Pick up 2 strands in the same manner. Yarn over. Make 1 single crochet. Keep turning the piece clockwise and work along. Single crochet into these 2 strands. Repeat like this throughout. Turn the fabric clockwise. Then single crochet into the 2 vertical strands on the upper left. Once you've reached the desired length, chain 1 to secure. Leave a long tail, and cut, if sewing is needed. Leave a longer tail. That's how you crochet a shrimp braid. Now, let's move on to the large leaves. There are a total of 8 pieces. All of them start with a foundation chain, and crocheted in rounds counterclockwise. The new stitch technique will be used is DC 2-in-1. Watch as I demonstrate. Chain to start. Begin by making a slip knot. Then crochet chains. After that, begin round 1. First, make 1 beginning chain to start. Work 2 single crochets in the second stitch from hook. Pick up the following chains and work 1 single crochet each. In the last chain, crochet 3 single crochets. On the other side, crochet single crochets by picking up the remaining 2 strands of chains. Be sure not to crochet into this final chain. Weave in the tails as you go. Work 1 single crochet in the spot where the first 2 single crochets were made. Finish with a slip stitch. Cut the rest of tail. Round 1 is complete. Consider the side with the clearer texture as the right side. Now, let's work on round 2. Start by chain 1. Crochet 3 single crochets in the spot where you slip stitched before. Continue to pick up the stitches and work single crochets. In the middle stitch of these 3 single crochets on the other end, work 3 single crochets. Keep crocheting single crochets correspondingly. Finish with our slip stitch. Round 2 is finished. Now, let's move on to the round 3. Begin with chain 1. Pick up the stitches one by one and correspondingly make 3 single crochets. 1/2 double crochet. 2 double crochets, and 1 DC 2 in 1, which means crocheting 2 double crochets in the same spot. There you have 1 DC 2 in 1. Make 3 more DC 2 in 1. One double crochet, 1 half double crochet, 2 single crochets, and 1 picot. Slip stitch into the front loop of the single crochet and this strand below together. Keep following the charts to complete this round. Finish with a slip stitch. Round 3 is now complete. Lastly, work on round 4. Pick up the stitch to make slip stitches. Chain 1 between them as a bridge. Start by chain 1. And make slip stitch towards the left. For the picot, be sure to crochet 2 slip stitches in it. This will emphasize the tip. Finally, slip stitch in where the one from last round was made. Chain 1 and make another slip stitch roughly to the left. At this point, the yarn should lay along with the leaf's midline. Crochet a few more chains as the stem. The length is up to you. You may choose the length you want. Finally, leave a 30 cm tail before cutting the yarn. And there you have one large leaf completed. Now, we'll sew the shrimp braid to the large leaf. I'll demonstrate with this sample. Thread the needle with tail of shrimp braid approximately at the center of this central motif. And sew the braid's end under the petal. Now align the shrimp braid along the center of arc-shaped motif. You can use a stitch marker to mark the key points. Aim for a natural curve, with the large leaf facing up. Arrange them staggered, alternating left and right. Make sure the stem end is tucked under the shrimp braid. Adjust the arrangement as you like. Then, sew them up. Pay attention to sew through the wrong side of the fabric. Avoid any visible sewing stitch on the right side. Adjust the position as you sew. The sewing stitch here on the sample is quite wide. In practice, you can make it more meticulously. Tuck the end of the thread to the wrong side. Tie a knot to secure. Weave in the tails within the fabric. For the large leaves, just sew with their own tails, along the fabric's edge. In the same way, it won't be difficult to you. Next, sew the front and back pieces together. First, check your charts and count the corresponding number of stitches to the right of the tail. Secure with a stitch marker. The width of this opening here can be adjusted according to your preference. Just make sure the pillow inner would fit inside. You may use a zipper as a guide. The opening shouldn't exceed the length of the zipper teeth. And sew with the reserved yarn, using whip stitches through the back loop of the crochet stitches. Or, you may sew by picking up crochet stitches. There's no specific technique required, as long as it's neat and secured. You may use the sewing techniques in the following video. Take the yarn in the same color as the motif edge, about 3 times the length of the side you're working on. Thread the needle. Tie a knot at one end. Insert the needle into the back loop of a corner stitch from any corner. Notice that I'm working with a sample here. The actual pieces might be different. Then, pick up the corresponding corner. On the other piece, go through the back loops. Of stitches on both pieces, while they're laying back to back. Now, sew through the middle of this knot. Give it a gentle tug to tighten slightly. Insert the back loop of the adjacent stitch. And come out from the back loop of the corresponding stitch on the other piece. Align the two pieces. Continue to work from front to back, through the back loops of the adjacent stitches on both pieces. And tuck the tail inside. Be careful not to pull too tightly or loosely while sewing. Keep the fabric flat throughout the process. Continue sewing like this. And finish this edge. At the corner on the other end. Tie a knot on the wrong side to secure and weave in the ends. Feel free to make a few more knots for extra security. That's how you do the whip stitches by picking up the neighboring back loops. Now, let's move on to the edging. Take the proper yarn. Notice that the sample I'll be using here has fewer rounds. Locate the stitch from round 1 on the border of motif. Any stitch will do. Insert your hook and come out through the right gap on the right of this double stitch from round 2. Join the yarn and crochet as the attachment of motifs. Fold the fabric backward would make it easier. Slip stitch into the corresponding spot. Work 1 single crochet. Continue crocheting in the corresponding spots. Be mindful of the tension of fabric as you go, to ensure an even outcome. Complete this round in this way. Crochet once at the joining point as well. Leave a 15 cm tail before cutting the yarn. Thread the needle. Sew it neatly back to the starting chain. Tie a knot on the wrong side to secure. Now, sew with the tail of the attachment here. Make sure it connect neatly to the edging. There's no specific technique required. Just ensure a natural connection and a good-looking texture. Do the same for the remaining tails of the attachment. Work the other side of edging in the same way. It won't be difficult to you. That's all for the edging. Now, let's move on to the zipper. Use the yarn for round 3 from the border. Thread one strand into a thin needle. You may cut the yarn before drawing the strand out. While sewing, align the zipper teeth with the opening edge. Sew through the stitch of round 3 from the border. You may use the sewing techniques in the following video. Note that the video only shows the sewing techniques. Now, we sew the zipper. I'll demonstrate with a sample here how to attach the zipper to the opening. Cut a slightly long sewing thread. Thread the needle. Fold it in half and untie a knot in the end. Set it aside for later use. Before sewing, we should know about the construction of the zipper. When zipped, the end with the zipper head is called the top stop. The other end is the bottom stop. On both sides are the tapes, with the zipper chain laying on. Position the opening towards you, according to your preference. Decide which end you want the zipper head to be. And place the bottom stop. On one side of the opening accordingly. Make sure the zipper head facing up. Double check that the orientation is correct. You can align the zipper's length first. And leave roughly equal lengths of the zipper ends. Secure the bottom stop to the opening. When sewing, try not to expose any visible stitches on the surface. Sew a few more stitches for extra secure. You may also sew a few stitches to secure the rest of it. Once the bottom stop is securely in place, unzip the zipper. Align roughly the opening with the zipper chain. Now sew the tape to the zipper chain on one side. Sew along the edging of the main body in the crochet stitches. Gently tighten the thread as you sew. Make sure no sewing traces are visible on the surface. Try to sew closely together to make it more secure. Don't forget to adjust the zipper and the fabric as you go. Make sure the zipper teeth align with the fabric edge. And the opening keep flat throughout the process. Avoid any puckering or pulling of the fabric. Continue sewing like this. Sew an extra stitch at the end. Sew all the way to the opposite end. Zip up. Sew a few stitches to attach both top stops to the fabric. Make sure the center of the zipper aligns with this open space. The zipper head should be facing outward. Don't sew it in. Once secured, You can sew the excess zipper a bit more to the fabric. Or, you can leave a small gap and trim off the extra. It's up to you. If your thread tails are still long, you can go back and sew another row to secure the zipper better. When finished, tie off the thread tails neatly. And just like that, one side of the zipper is sewed. The process is the same for the other side. As you sew, make sure to zip up and adjust the position. This ensures both sides of the zipper lay evenly. Also, watch out for the fabric puckering or pulling. Keep everything aligned. Finish this part. You see, this is the sample with the zipper sewed up. That's all about the zipper. Next, we move on to the small leaves and flowers. There are multiple small leaves. Each starts with a foundation chain and crochet in rounds counterclockwise. The techniques of them is similar to the large ones. Follow the previous demonstration and refer to the charts as you go. Leave a 30 cm tail for sewing at the end. The flowers come in 2 color schemes. They all start with a magic ring and crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Color changing is needed during the process. The new stitches here are HDC3 puff and the treble crochet. I'll show you in detail. Begin with a magic ring. Then crochet round 1. Chain 1 as the beginning chain. Here, you can slightly enlarge the loop. Then, work into the ring, making an unclosed half double crochet. Yarn over. Insert the hook and draw through. Stretch the loop to align with the right side. And there, you have the unclosed half double crochet. Now, make another unclosed half double crochet. Gently pinch the yarn. Enlarge the loop. Yarn over and draw through all loops. And there, you've made a special HDC3 puff. Now, chain 2. Work another HDC3 puff. We'll call it as a bobble from now on. Begin by making 3 unclosed half double crochets. Make sure to enlarge the loops. Yarn over and draw through all loops. A bobble is complete. Chain 2 more. Continue to finish round. Close the loop. Slip stitch in the beginning chain. Cut the yarn. And there, round 1 is done. Consider this side with a better braid-like texture as the right side. Move on to round 2. Join the yarn in any chain space from round 1. Chain 3 as the beginning chain. And make 1 treble crochet in the same spot. Yarn over twice. Insert the hook. Weave in the tails as you go. Draw through. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat this process 3 times. 1 treble crochet is complete. Chain 3 more. Slip stitch into the same spot. Give it a gentle tug to tighten. Chain 3. 1 treble crochet. Chain 3 again. And slip stitch. Slip stitch again into the next chain space. Consider what we just made in this round as a group. Continue to do another group. Make sure to make the last slip stitch of a group into the next chain space. Work along. The slip stitch of the last group should be made where you joined the yarn. Place the flower on the border. The flower should be slightly wider than the border. If it's too wide or too narrow, you might adjust the tension and rework to ensure a neat project. Leave a 20 cm tail before cutting the yarn. And there you have a flower done. Crochet the rest flowers in the same way. Lastly, sew the small leaves and flowers to the border. You can start from the zipper. Alternately place the flowers and leaves. Arrange the leaves like this so that they create a wavy line. You can lay them out first to locate the right positions. Once you're satisfied with the outcome, sew them up. The technique is similar to the shrimp braid and large leaves. For the zipper, just make all the sewing on this side. And leave out the other side. Sew along the seam of the fabric's meat. Try not to expose any visible stitches on the surface. While sewing the flowers, to look more delicate, you may draw out 2 strands of the yarn for sewing. Tie off the tails on the wrong side and fasten them off. You may finish them all. And that's all about the decorations. Up to this point, we've covered everything about this pillowcase. If you have any questions during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via our website. Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.